Cape Coral. Rotary Park's Glover Bight. What we have is a 3/10 of a mile long elevated boardwalk through a mangrove swamp. It's an easy walk, low impact on your knees. It's great for birding. 3-story observation tower is always one of my favorites. You can see who's nesting in the mangroves as the sun comes up. Lots of warbler action in the wintertime. It's a good birding spot. And it's also right around the corner from Rotary Park, which has got some great trails. And for lunch, we can pop over there to Tarpon Pointe Marina. So we're here on Glover Bight, this elevated boardwalk through the nature preserve by the Westin and Tarpon Pointe Marina. What we're seeing here is storm damage from Hurricane Ian just about 2 years ago. We have the uplift in the boardwalk itself, and we see extensive mangrove damage. You see the mangrove trees, they actually are here to absorb storm surge and take the wind. The upper story, the canopy is gone. These are all dead. What you're seeing, since now light hits the ground, all the little ones are popping up. We're starting to see it renew. Life never ends. Nature abhors the vacuum. And you can see all the water movement. This place is still alive. There's still little fish and bugs, and there's some ibis over here. The majority of what you're going to see are going to be red mangroves. We have 3 mangroves in Florida: reds, blacks, and whites. Reds are the most salt and water tolerant. Right next door, we have a black mangrove because it's black skin. Also, you'll see below, you'll see all the little things reaching up out of the water. Those are called dead man's fingers. It's actually the root system of the black mangrove. Red mangroves, on the other hand, have these stabilizing prop roots, which you see, these are what create new islands. This is what creates new land. These roots come down and they trap debris and sand, and islands grow. The importance of mangroves is 95% of the fish that we recreationally or commercially harvest spend some time in the mangroves. If you're not protecting your mangroves, you're not protecting your fishing. Here in Glover Bight, you had mentioned that before. Actually, I retained that. One thing I thought was interesting, the largest surviving trees that you can find on this boardwalk are the black mangroves. The larger reds look like they've all died at the very edge of the water with the props hanging out. This is what you fish under for snook and redfish. You can also tell red mangrove. So these trees are salt tolerant, not salt dependent. As a matter of fact, they do all get rid of salt. The black mangrove, for example, the bottom of their leaves are a little shiny and grayish. That's where the salt comes out. If you actually lick a bottom leaf, you'll taste the salt. And people, Calusa Indians and pioneers, used to use that for actual seasoning food. The red mangrove, what they do is they'll take all that salt that they absorbed in from the salt water, and they'll put it into specific leaves, let that leaf turn yellow and die and fall off. They use a sacrificial leaf system to get the salt out of the body. Here's one right here, here's one right there. This was probably underwater. So this is a mangrove swamp. By definition, a swamp is a wetland with minimum of 70% tree cover. This is way over 70, it's 100%. It's right here. So you see all these dead trees. Now you see a tremendous amount of little trees growing up afterwards. That's all about sunlight being hit the ground and new life starts. Got nesting birds over there, lays eggs on black mangrove trees. So one morning I'm here, and I wish I knew what time of year it was so I could duplicate it. One morning I'm here, and literally walking on this boardwalk, they were so full of butterflies, I had to dodge my head, not the face plant, butterflies during this walk. That was pretty freaking cool. Why'd I have to duck my head? There's thousands, millions of butterflies. They're breeding. Either they're breeding or they're just born. I'm not sure which. But a butterfly plant is either a food plant where the caterpillars themselves are eating it, or they're a nectar plant where the butterflies are getting the nectar out of the flowers. The black mangroves are their larval host plant, so that's what the caterpillars eats the leaves. So you could either have had an explosion that morning of freshly hatched butterflies, or it's an explosion of butterflies coming here to mate and lay eggs on all the black mangrove trees. The large building to the left, that's the Westin Resort, beautiful resort. The 3 buildings to the right, which kind of look merged into one from this angle, that is Marina View. Beautiful condos, 2,200, 2,300 square feet. They go front to back. So you have balconies on each direction. I was selling one in the last building a couple years back, and you look out the back balcony and you can see the pirate ship. There is in that canal where 200 years ago, the United States Navy sunk a pirate ship. They burned it to the waterline, and to this day, you can still see the ribs of that pirate ship at low tide. In between, you have the actual Tarpon Pointe Marina, which is a beautiful marina beautiful marina itself with lots of restaurants and dining and shopping all around it. It's a beautiful area. I consider it one of the amenities of South Florida, South Cape Coral especially. And from there, you can actually see the Caloosahatchee River. It's that close to being out if you're by boat. Trees drop leaves, the sticks fall down, and the leaves and sticks rot and break down. Microorganisms come in. Bacteria come in, eat the debris. Little crabs and fish come in to eat the microorganisms. Bigger fish come in. You know, it's this chain of life that begins in the mangroves that's so important to our environment, especially our fisheries. You have areas where they've cleaned out the mangroves and your fishing stocks dropped immediately. Just like when they first installed the 10-mile canal, the fishing in Fort Myers Beach in that area dropped because they messed up the cycle of salinity in our back bay and our estuaries. An estuary by definition is where saltwater and freshwater mix. So if you have too much freshwater in summer and not enough freshwater in a winter during a seasonal drought, the fish don't know to breed because it's that seasonal water level. Salinity levels in the estuary or water levels in your freshwater environments, that's what tells animals when to breed.